What if I told you that a tiny Caribbean island, with a population you could fit inside a large football stadium, just did the impossible? A nation of just over 156,000 people, with barely any footballing history to its name, has qualified for the FIFA World Cup for the very first time. This is the story of how a unique connection to the Netherlands and the genius of a legendary coach sparked a footballing fairy tale that sent an entire country into ecstasy. So how on earth did they pull it off? Everyone loves an underdog, but the story of Curaçao is more than that. It's a statistical miracle. To really get the scale of this achievement, you first have to understand just how small Curaçao is. It's a sun-drenched island in the southern Caribbean, a beautiful place known more for its colorful architecture and stunning beaches than for producing world-class football teams. Its entire population of about 156,115 could watch a match together and still leave empty seats in some of the world's biggest stadiums. Before November 2025, the record for the smallest nation to make a World Cup belonged to Iceland, a country with more than double Curaçao's population. Curaçao didn't just break the record, it shattered it. The island itself is a constituent country within the Kingdom of the Netherlands. While it has a long footballing heritage as part of the former Netherlands Antilles, the modern national team, as we know, is incredibly young, only becoming a separate FIFA member in 2011. For years, they were a footnote in the CONCACAF region, a team expected to make up the numbers, not the headlines. Their resources were limited, and their chances of ever reaching a World Cup felt, for all intents and purposes, like zero. The problem wasn't just their size. It was that in the brutal world of international football, they were practically invisible. So what changed? The answer starts with a man who has seen and done it all, Advocaat. In late 2023, the Curaçao Football Federation made an audacious move and reached out to the titan of Dutch football management. At 78 years old, Advocaat had more than earned his retirement. His 45-year career was legendary, a journey that saw him manage giants like Rangers, PSV Eindhoven, and Zenit St. Petersburg, where he won a UEFA Cup. He'd coached his home country, the Netherlands, on 3 separate occasions and managed the national teams of Russia, Belgium, and South Korea. His nickname, the Little General, was a nod to his mentor, the great Rinus Michels. He was disciplined, demanding, and used to winning. But taking on Curaçao was different. This was a challenge so far removed from the glamour of European football that many thought it was a joke. Advocaat himself almost walked away before he even started. Frustrated by financial disorganization within the federation, he delayed his start until January 2024, making it clear that if Curaçao wanted him, they had to get serious. They did. That one act of resolve set the tone for everything that followed. For the Little General, this wasn't a Caribbean vacation. It was one last, improbable campaign. He had managed in a World Cup in the United States before, leading the Netherlands in 1994. Now, over 3 decades later, he was determined to get back there with the unlikeliest of teams. Advocaat knew he couldn't build a World Cup team from the island's small local league alone. The solution lay 8,000 kilometers away, in Europe. He and his staff began an exhaustive recruitment drive, tapping into the vast Curaçaoan diaspora in the Netherlands. This led to one of the most unique facts about this historic team. The vast majority of the players in the squad that sealed qualification were not born on the island of Curaçao itself. They were the children and grandchildren of the island, born and raised in the Netherlands and developed in the sophisticated Dutch football academy system. They played for clubs across Europe, one in England's 3rd tier, another in the Turkish 2nd division. Separately, they were journeyman professionals. Together, they were a national team in waiting. Advocaat's genius was convincing them to answer the call. He didn't just offer them a chance to play. He offered them a mission to make history for the island in their blood. They became known as La Familia Azul, the Blue Family. The name was perfect. It represented a fusion of disciplined Dutch tactical awareness with a fiery, passionate Caribbean soul. This wasn't just a collection of players. It was a family united by a shared heritage and an impossible dream. As the qualifying campaign began, something immediately felt different. Curaçao had shown flashes of potential under previous decorated Dutch managers like Patrick Kluivert and Guus Hiddink, but Advocaat brought a new level of grit and organization. His team was hard to beat, defensively solid, and relentlessly efficient. They weren't there to play beautiful football, they were there to win. They stormed through their opening group with a perfect 100% record, dispatching teams like Haiti, St. Lucia, and Barbados. Belief began to build. On the island, whispers turned into excited conversations. In the locker room, the players started to look at each other with a dawning realization. This could actually happen. They entered the final group stage, facing the region's powerhouses. Standing in their way were giants of Caribbean football like Trinidad and Tobago and, crucially, Jamaica, nations with much richer footballing histories. But La Familia Azul was no longer just happy to be there. They were unbeaten, disciplined, and on the verge of a miracle. It all came down to one night in November 2025 in Kingston, Jamaica. Curaçao needed just a draw against the formidable Reggae Boys to make history. The air in the stadium was electric, filled with a Jamaican crowd expecting to celebrate their own journey to the World Cup. For 90 agonizing minutes, Curaçao held on. They defended with their lives, throwing their bodies in front of every shot as Jamaica relentlessly attacked, hitting the woodwork 3 times in the second half. Then, deep into injury time, came a moment of pure drama. The referee pointed to the penalty spot, a penalty for Jamaica. The dream was about to be snatched away in the cruelest way imaginable. But after a tense video review, the referee jogged back onto the pitch and overturned the decision. No penalty. A wave of relief washed over the blue shirts of Curaçao. Minutes later, the final whistle blew. It was over. 0-0. They had done it. Players collapsed to the grass, some in tears, others in sheer disbelief. Dick Advocaat, who had to miss the match for family reasons, was surely watching from afar as his team, his family, held on. Against all odds, the smallest nation by population to ever reach a World Cup had finally made it. Back on the island, it was pure euphoria. The streets of Willemstad exploded in a carnival of blue and white as thousands poured out to celebrate, and the sound of joy echoed across the island. This was more than just a football result. It was a moment of supreme national pride, a declaration to the world. We are here. The players, a family forged from a diaspora, had delivered a dream to their homeland. Winger Kenji Gore, struggling to find the words, summed it up perfectly.
You're the king.
Wow, I've got no words. I'm so proud of the boys. I can't breathe. I can't function. You know, this is a dream come true. You know, when we started off this journey with a dream, and it was the impossible, and today we made the impossible possible. And there is a mighty God. There is a God that is alive, and He hears our prayers, and He hears what we're going through, and He hears our experiences. And today we showed that there is a living God here today. We saw that it was hard, it was tough, but we fought to the end. It was like Goliath today, 35,000 people against us. But we showed character, we showed determination, and we ended up getting the win, and we're going to the World Cup. We are going to the World Cup. Klein Curaçao, the smallest country to ever go to the World Cup. We are going to the World Cup. Yeah!
And what about the old general who masterminded it all? Dick Advocaat, a man whose trophy cabinet is overflowing, called it the craziest career achievement of his life. In that moment, he wasn't the manager of footballing royalty. He was the architect of a true fairy tale. The story of Curaçao is proof that in football, the size of your heart and the power of your dreams matter so much more than the size of your country. It's a testament to a legendary coach's final masterstroke, a family of players who came together from across an ocean, and an island that dared to believe. La Familia Azul will go to the 2026 World Cup as the ultimate underdog, but they've already won their greatest victory. They've inspired the world. If you love stories where the underdog comes out on top, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more incredible football stories. And let us know in the comments, what's your favorite World Cup miracle story?
Every legend starts somewhere. Two worlds, one game, infinite dreams. Yet 99% of talent is never discovered. From nothing to glory isn't just content, it's a movement. 23,000 smart fans, 50 countries, one family. Your journey from nothing to glory starts now. From nothing to glory, where legends are born.